and Pancakes.
All right, and we are back. This is Tim and Pancakes with Karen the Bestie. Hello.
Hello.
Let's take a second just to acknowledge that we just re recorded the introduction because it's going to be obvious based off of your background.
Well, I didn't think about that.
I know, I didn't either until just now. So I'm like, okay, we'll just come clean from the beginning. So we did re record the introduction. We had some audio issues, which is this kind of my it's so funny because my channel tends to have audio issues, but it's always a different issue every time. I want you to know it's not that I'm not just getting my stuff together. I have a different issue every time, and then we have to overcome it. And so, thank you for your patience.
You're welcome.
So, where we left off last time, Karen and I, King Karen and I, were kind of a little bit stumped. We were traveling around trying to figure out what do we need to do, which is one thing I love about these old games is they're adventure games. You have to explore, you have to try different things, and eventually something will give. And it used to take players months and months and months to finish these games. I took a sneak peek to figure out what we missed, and actually it's perfect that we're ending here because there are two things in this room that we need to do. So, I'm just going to give you one little hint, and we'll see what happens. Do you remember how in another screen there are things on a surface that you have to click on?
Yeah.
All right, that's all I'm going to say.
So you make clicky thing.
Uh-huh. And I'll let you know that Alexander is standing where he needs to be standing.
Oh. Okay, because I was going to go for this book.
We did that in the last playthrough. It doesn't really do anything.
Oh. Thanks for reminding me.
Yes, it's been a long time.
And then I need to clicky here.
There's nothing of interest on that part of the counter.
Maybe
On
it's
that.
an eyeball?
It said that part.
You're right, maybe we missed the book.
An antique leather-bound book is displayed on a little stand on the counter. On the elaborate cover is the title, Ye Useful Book of Magic Spells.
I want ye. I must say that this looked like a part of the counter, not a separate book.
Right, exactly.
I would have appreciated a brighter color.
I know. Well, that's what you gotta do. You gotta kind of click around on everything because you never know what will work.
How much for that book on the counter, merchant?
Yeah, merchant.
It is a fine book, is it not? I obtained it from the estate of the one and only magician this kingdom has ever had.
David
Proved
Blaine.
himself into an aardvark in the end, or so I heard. I never found the spells all that useful myself, but then I lead a boring life. I tell you what, if you can find another rare book, something a bit more marketable, I might be willing to exchange the spelled book for it.
Okay.
Okay. Does it count if it's already in his store?
No, I think you can try giving him that book back, but he does not want it. Okay, so the only other thing I'll give you is that just remember that I said you kind of got to click on everything and see what happens.
By the way, that roll of my head was me not rolling my eyes.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you explained that because it was a little weird.
I realized it was probably more noticeable than rolling my eyes.
Yeah. I was like, are you clicking? Okay.
No, I'm not clicking. I'm thinking.
Okay, that's great. It's a game of logic.
Alexander is a little old for those children's books.
How rude.
The fireplace can provide Alexander with nothing but warmth. And burn a perfectly good hand. Alexander rests his feet for a moment. Alexander picks up and leaves idly through a book called The Changing Role of Court Entertainers.
Oh yeah, I remember this book.
Well, that was refreshing.
It was.
The table
Oh.
is empty.
Is it this?
Alexander has no ambition to set himself up as a merchant.
That's weird.
Programming. Okay. Is it the light?
Alexander doesn't need the bookshop chandelier.
Why not?
Okay, Karen, you're in a bookstore.
Is it this book? No, because you already said no.
That's right.
Alexander is not interested in those self-help books.
Apparently he's...
Thinking of Cosima,
Oh.
Alexander decides to leaf through one of the volumes of love poetry. He reads,
Oh.
Thy hair, thy lips, thy beauteous face, and all thy studied female grace have won for thee anon a place within this broken breast. Not bad. And another. Upon the shore the lilies bend, untouched by worldly care, where shadow they her earthly bed, oh, that she were not there. Yikes. And another.
Oh, God.
What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and binds my heart with links so tight I cannot live without the sight of you? What nameless thing has captured me and made me powerless to flee? What thing is it without a name that brings my mind e'er back the same to thee? The name of love cannot apply. Its commonness does not decry the haunted, hunted, painful cry that my heart makes for you, that ere my soul eternal makes for you.
A little close to home, that one.
Alexander returns the love poem book to the shelf.
Oh, good. That was it?
Yeah.
Good, because that was worse than that old man outside yelling about lamp.
Yes.
Nerd.
Alexander picks up the fallen page. It's the love poem he particularly liked. It must have fallen out of the poetry book.
I see that old volume has lost another page. You may keep it if you like, sir. I have glued the stubborn thing back in place 2 times already. I do rather like it. Thank you, merchant.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think those are the 2 things we had to do before that the fairy person would talk to us. I don't want to repeat of last time. Although it was fun editing that part of the video.
Run, 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 run! Yeah, Mrs. Abusive. Yelling at the lady. He's out! Oh, he's in.
Okay, so let's go try knocking.
He was out and then he saw me and he ran away.
I said the ferry's out of business. What do you want to keep bothering
Try
me
talking
for?
and see.
Excuse me. My name is Alexander. The owner of the bookshop in the village told me you might be able to help me. I hear you used to run this ferry for the islands. I'd like to talk to you if you have a moment. You say old Allie sent you? I can't see why. The ferry's not running, you know. I understand. I'd just like to talk to you about the islands if you don't mind. Well, I guess it'd be all right if Allie sent you. Well, don't just stand there. Come on inside.
I did it!
What is it you wanted to talk about, young man?
So first of all, I just want to say, I'm pretty sure we didn't try talking to him last time. We kept trying to give him stuff. So after like 30 minutes of back and forth and getting rejected, I'm pretty sure that's all we had to do. But anyway.
I'm a visitor to these islands. I'd like to learn what I can about the area. So you said outside. What is it you want to know? Well, for one thing, why has the island's only ferry been dry docked? It just ain't safe to sail these days. What with the island's feuding and all, Wazir Al-Hazred ordered the ferry closed till things settled down. Me, I don't think she'll ever see water again.
But why are the islands feuding?
You got me. Something about stolen property or some such thing. It's a real shame. Things used to be so friendly.
Then this unrest is recent.
A few years is all, but it's been long enough.
Perhaps if the ferry were repaired.
This whole thing, this ferry's been out of water so long she's no longer even seaworthy. Her boards have dry rot. She'd fall apart at the first taste of seawater.
But there must be some way to get off this island.
There's only one other way to travel that I know of. A magic map. The owner of the pawn shop can tell you more about that than I can, Alexander.
Ooh.
I see you have a rabbit's foot. Has it brought you much luck?
As you can see, my luck's been out for some time now, despite that old charm. Why don't you take it with you? Perhaps giving the darn thing away will bring me good fortune at last.
Perhaps it will at that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just love all the music.
I know. I got some stuff.
Alexander isn't in the mood for a nap.
Oh.
Besides, is the thought of the old sea salt's bed linen rather uninviting? Alexander doesn't want to take anything from the cabin unless the ferryman offers it to him.
Am I just wasting my time?
Yeah, I think that's everything here. You might talk to him one more time just to make sure. I always like to make sure everything's exhausted.
Tell me more about the ferry.
I remember when I used to ferry Queen Ilaria and Princess Casima themselves. There was no thought of danger back then. They used to go visiting to care for the needy and to keep up the friendly relations between the islands. I remember their last trip. Things had started getting nasty by then, and when they came back aboard, I gathered that the Queen and the Princess had been received a bit coldly. Princess Casima was such a pretty thing, and she was terribly upset. But who could be spreading these lies, she asked the Queen. But the Queen had no answer.
What do you do now that the ferry no longer operates?
Me? I'm out of a job. The job my ancestors have held for generations. I'm the only one trained to avoid the reef and the rocks. But that knowledge does me no good now.
Is there no other boat on the island? One that might be more seaworthy?
Boats don't last long on these shoals, as you may have found out if you got here by ship. You can be quite sure that this old ferry is, or was, the only craft on the island.
Tell me more about Princess Casima.
Ah, such a beautiful child, and so pure of heart. Why, a contrary thought has never crossed her mind. Her mother was the same. The king and queen, they served the islands, not the other way around, always thinking about the people. Ah, they are sorely missed.
What else can you tell me about the land?
Let's see. The Isle of Wonder's a lovely spot. Bit crazy, mind you. Gotta have a good sense of humor to enjoy a tour there.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The Isle of the Beast is pretty, but unfortunately, you can't get very far onto the island.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The inhabitants of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain are the most gorgeous creatures you'll ever see. If you ever get to see them, that is.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The Castle of the Crown sure is a beauty. She's the finest palace ever built, I'll warrant.
I just have to say that I feel like Alexander's being the child going, why?
Yeah.
Why?
What else can you tell me about the land?
Some say that the land of the Green Isles is near the edge of the world.
and that the deadly currents are a result of a magnetism that sucks life from this world to the next. Of course, that's just silly talk.
Shall I continue?
Maybe just to see. I'm kind of curious.
What else can you tell me about the land? Let's see. The Isle of Wonder's a lovely
Okay.
spot.
So we're good.
All right. Yeah, I just love to exhaust because it gives you a lot of backstory and everything.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
What questions do you have right now?
Well, I have a few things I'm supposed to find.
Uh-huh.
I think 3 things. Maybe 4. So I need to find a rare book,
Mm-hmm.
a lamp,
Mm-hmm.
princess.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, her nightingale.
yeah, her her nightingale. And then did I say the map?
Nope.
The magic.
Yeah, so yeah, now you can start questing. All right, let's go. Where do you want to go first?
I have no idea.
Well, he said that you could talk to somebody about the map.
Oh, the yeah,
Cool.
going
Well,
to the pawn shop.
I think I'll be going now. Thanks for allowing me into your home. Hush, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know what I mean.
I do.
We do. We sure
We
do.
all do. The ferryman is all of us.
Yes. That's pretty relatable. There's something that happens in King's Quest V that's also pretty relatable.
Pawn shop, right?
Yeah.
Good day.
It's the dude
Mm-hmm.
from the bookstore. Sorry, I should finish my thought. You can't see where I pointed.
I knew what you were saying.
Good day, sir.
The old man just glares at Alexander and does not reply.
Is that him glaring?
I guess so.
Okay. Now, rabbit's
Would you
foot?
be interested in... No, leave me alone.
Okay, grumpy
talk to him.
pants.
Huh?
I said, okay, grumpy pants.
I'll talk to this guy.
Excuse me, merchant, but the ferryman mentioned that you
Yeah.
might have a magic map of the land of the Green Isles.
Why, as a matter of fact, I do. I keep it under the counter. It's been gathering dust so long that I nearly forgot about it. It was quite a few years ago, you see. The estate of a wealthy wizard fell into my hands when he died. It was useless magical junk mostly, which reminds me, still got some things of his in the back that I need to dump out. Anyway, the magic map was the one true treasure in the lot. The wizard was quite old and feeble and had enchanted the map to aid in traveling. It is said that one need only desire to be on an island depicted on the map to find oneself there. It is a very valuable map, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, no one is interested in traveling these days. It is far too dangerous with the current state of the kingdom.
What would you take for the map?
I would normally want something magic in return, but since I am hardly overrun with prospective buyers, I would be willing to take anything of equal value in exchange.
Like a rabbit's foot?
Sure.
Would you be interested in making a trade for this, merchant?
A rabbit's foot. I do not believe I could use that.
Valuable.
This is my ring,
Hmm. You can't see me nodding, but yes.
but how am I going to tell everyone I'm a prince?
Just see what happens.
Would you be willing to take my family ring in exchange for the magic map.
Daventry, are you a king then?
No, that's my father, King Graham. I'm just Alexander.
Well, Prince Alex, she is a beautiful queen. Are you sure you can part with such a unique family heirloom?
The ring does mean a lot to me. I didn't always have a family, you know. Still, it is only gold. There are more important things at stake now.
Then you now own a magic map, Prince Alex. I will keep your ring out of sight for a few days. If you find anything else of great value in your travels, you can come back for your ring. I would hate to see it melted down for gold. And a warning about the map. It will only operate when you are out in the open and within sight of the sea. The limitation has something to do with the teleport spell ingredients. You might try the beach.
Thank you. You are very kind. And I'll remember about the map.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Suddenly, the old man in the concealing cloak sneaks past Alexander, and with a sneaky dart of his hand, steals a mint from the candy jar. The old man stuffs the mint into his mouth and wobbles unsteadily out of the pawn shop.
Master! I followed Prince Alexander as you wished. From the pawn shop owner, he just abstained. Just retrieved. He just got a magic map.
You fool! You've been eating those mints. I ordered you to stop that.
Yes. Master.
Now, what is this about a magic map?
With the map, Prince Alexander can travel anywhere as quickly as I can.
I thought I took care of the only means of travel. By my scimitar, I can't have him stirring things up now. Get a hold of yourself and listen carefully, Shamir. Go to the other islands and tell them.
So then what?
I guess we'll never know.
I'd just like to say, this is going back a little ways.
Okay.
That the merchant explained to us that being outside near the sea, the best place to go is a beach.
You know, he just really wanted you to know where to go.
Understood. Okay. So I'm guessing I should go to the beach.
Sure. We should also probably save because we made some progress.
But yeah, let's see how many points I have.
Ooh,
29.
pretty respectable.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I sat back. Can you hear me okay?
What?
Oh. I said I sat back. Can you hear me okay? And I guess the answer is no.
No, I could. I just didn't understand what you said.
Okay.
Because I was thinking.
Got it.
Listening. Oh, my little dude's gone.
Ah, yes. I'll tell you he'll be back, but it's just it gives you a break on the screen, so.
So the genie was the grumpy old guy, right?
Yes.
The birdie.
Yep.
Hang on. Birdie.
Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale and places it on the ground. The mechanical nightingale sings a sweet tinny. The real nightingale in the tree cocks her head and listens intently. The nightingale flies to a lower branch and looks at Alexander curiously, as if she were deciding that this human might not be so bad.
All right. Oh.
I talked.
Although the nightingale seems interested in Alexander, she would never allow him close enough to grab her.
Talk to you.
Hello, little nightingale. Of what do you sing?
The nightingale only looks at Alexander curiously and continues to sing.
I think something messed up where I didn't do, because I didn't get to do that.
Alexander holds out the love poem to the nightingale, hoping that she perhaps is the nightingale that Jello spoke of, and that she might be able to take the words of love to her mistress, Cosima.
Oh, there's a
The
snake.
nightingale swoops down and grabs the poem. She flies off towards the castle, perhaps to Cosima.
Sing, sing, what have you found? A scrap of paper? Oh, this is no mere bit of paper, but words of love. Who sent this? It must have been Abdul. Oh, Sing Sing, will he never give up? You must be careful, pretty bird. Stay away from Abdul. I don't trust him so close to you. Now go.
The little bird returns to her branch without the poem. Alexander wishes he knew what happened to his message of love.
I think that we might have been a bit premature in trading the ring for the map, because I think we do need to send the ring with the bird so that she doesn't think it's Abdul. Let's go back and try giving him the map back just to see if he'll trade. If not, we might have to reset.
So should we end there?
Sure. So yeah, we'll pick this up again next time. Thank you guys for watching.
And that's a stack.